Hi students, welcome back. Today the topic we are going to see is problem of double counting. Okay, how the problem of double counting takes place. We have already seen that when we calculate national income, only the final value of goods and services are to be taken. However, it is always a mistaken trend that people will calculate intermediate goods also along with that. Or each step they make additions and there would be mistake in national income accounting. Okay. So generally it is seen that this problem of double counting takes place because of people add intermediate goods along with it. Okay. Double counting refers to the counting of an output more than once. Double counting means it is counting an output more than once while passing through a various stages of production. You know that various stages of production process is here. For example, a bread maker, wheat. A farmer produces wheat maybe for 500 and the flour maker makes it into another flour and then its value may be increased to 700 and sell it on 700 and then a bread maker sells the output on 1000 and if you are going to add all these 500, 700 and 1000 it is going to be a huge amount. However, instead we take the final one alone or the value addition we will take. What is the value addition there? In first farmer value addition is 500. Second, what is the value addition done by the flour maker? 200 to make it 700. Then what is the value addition of bread maker? 300. So 500, 200, 300, 1000 it comes. Or the value of what is the final value of goods, this particular bread? 1000. And value addition also is 1000. So properly if we do it properly, we can get the right amount. Okay. But keep in mind. Then a commodity, you know that theory part we are going to see. A commodity, you know that passes through various stages of production before reaching its final stage. So many stages of production there before reaching it into final stage. If value is added in each stage, okay, it is likely to include the cost of inputs more than once. Okay, so for example, we have been given here some examples in your textbook. We will go through that once. Okay, suppose a farmer produces 50 kg of wheat. Farmer produces 50 kg of wheat. Farmer produces 50 kg of wheat. Farmer produces 50 kg wheat. Okay. And sells it for rupees 500 to miller. And this is sold to miller. Okay. And for farmer, it is sold to miller. Okay. You can note down here so that you will easily understand. And for farmer, wheat is its final product. For the farmer, it is the final. Okay. Sowing, harvesting after having all these process, selling, making this wheat, preparing this wheat, 50 kg of wheat, and selling to miller. Farmer is all completed. For farmer, it is a final. Okay. Then miller, you know that for miller, wheat is an intermediate good. For miller, this we know is an intermediate good. For Miller purchases this intermediate good. What is this intermediate good? 50 kg of wheat. And for Miller it is intermediate, but for farmer it is final. Okay. Miller converts it into flour and sells it for rupees 700 to baker. And then Miller this 50 kg wheat he took as wheat he took and converts it. Okay, and this is on 500, no? 500, and on 700 Miller sells this 50 kg flour, we can say, flour to baker. Okay, and this flour, I don't know how much will come after having made 50 kg wheat into flour. Probably we calculate that way. Okay, 50 kg flour. When it is sold to baker, this flour is the final good for Miller. Okay, for farmer, wheat was final good and he sold to Miller, and for Miller it is intermediate good. This wheat is intermediate good. He took it, he purchased from farmer and then he sold this. Okay, he converted this into flour and then he sold it to baker. And when he sold this to baker, it is the final good for Miller. Then baker. For baker, flour is an intermediate good. Now comes baker, third question. This flour, 50 kg flour, 50 kg flour is, this flour is an intermediate good. For him also, this is an intermediate good. Okay. Baker manufactures bread from the flour and sells the entire bread to final consumers on rupees 1000. And he makes bread 50 kg with 50 kg flour, converts into bread and then sells to customers. Okay, consumers. And for baker, flour was intermediate. However, this bread was finally. Okay. Then, now let us present the data in chart. A chart is given there. We have seen that. A big chart is given. Farmer, Miller, farmer sells wheat, sells wheat, rupees 500. Then comes Miller. Okay. Then comes Miller. Miller sells flour. On what rate? 4 rupees 700. And then sold to baker. Third person is baker. Okay. He sells this to consumers. He sells this on sells bread on rupees 1000. Okay, you are seeing here. And then here output, here value of output. Wheat, flour, bread. Wheat, flour, bread. And value of output. This is farmer's wheat. This bread, package. Okay. Value of output. Value of output. Here 500. Here 700. Here 1000. Okay. The rate of sale only, value of output. Okay. And there then value of input. Value of input. Here in case 0 or not available, something will be there but not available here. Wheat, how much we spend 500. The flour maker and miller for value of input intermediate for miller is 500 rupees, and then last one flour 700. How did baker purchase on 700? For farmer it was free or some nominal input agreement and for miller it is 500 it costed as intermediate, and for baker 700 it costed. Okay. Then value added. Value added. Here it is 500. Okay. And then value added means value of output minus intermediate consumption. If intermediate consumption is there, that must be reduced from it. Then here value added, how much will come? Value of output minus intermediate consumption. Value of output is here is 700 minus value of intermediate consumption, that is 200. Here bread, value of output 1000 and intermediate consumption is 700. On 700 intermediate consumption means on 700 only purchase this material for this product. So that is 300. Rupees 300. This is value added of all three, and the final rate is 1000. In the given example, wheat is the final product for farmer. We have seen that. Already we have seen that for farmer, wheat is the final product. However, for miller it was flour, the final one, and for baker it was bread, the final one. Okay. Then, as a general practice, every producer treats his commodity as the final output. So this is a general practice, and wheat, according to farmer, is the final one, according to him. And for miller, this flour is final, and for baker, you know that this bread is final and given to consumer. And suppose it can go again. It is according to baker. Suppose I have a small shop where this kind of articles are sold, and if I bring there and sell this bread on 1000 fourth one. Then my value order will be of 100. Value addition will change again. So according to each these persons, it is the final one. That doesn't mean that it is the what decides whether it is a final product or not. End user. Suppose as I don't have a shop, if I purchase something that will be for my self consumption, not for resale. So naturally, that can be truly called as final good. Okay, somebody who sells me something can be called that it is a final good, as I don't generally resell it. But I said here an instance. Suppose this baker is giving bread to a major shop. For example, it is given to Amanpreet's shop. And if Amanpreet is selling this, Amanpreet may be given, Amanpreet may be given this bread on 1,000 rupees. And considering that there is a huge demand for it, he sold it on 1,200. Some profit needed, no, these days. So he sold it on 1,200. Then 200 is a value addition. From Amanpreet's shop, if somebody else takes away, suppose a small shopkeeper is taking away and he adds a value of, for example, 1,200 and he sold it on this rate. Then there again value addition takes place over 50. So, which is the final good? This whole stage until it reaches the end user. So we here only consider value addition made. We have to add all the value additions. So here 200, there 50, and from here consumers consumed. Then no problem. So this rate will value added in this case will become 1250 finally. 200 Amanpreets and 50 that long-term shop players. Like that it can increase. Now I hope some idea you got regarding this. Then in the given example we have seen, however, a careful examination reveals that each transaction contains the value of intermediate goods. Okay, if you observe this, in each transaction there is a value of intermediate goods. You can see here. From here, actually here also intermediate good. Farmer cannot grow this wheat without having an investment, An intermediate investment of at least 100, 200 must be there. Maybe 300, or it can be 400, or maybe up to 500 also. Okay, it can be more than 500 also. It is depending on the way he cultivates and the blessing of the nature, depends on that. It's rather risky also. Okay, yeah. However, you can see here an element of intermediate goods coming in many cases. Understood? If you observe, value of wheat is included in the value of flour. Value of wheat is included, value of wheat is 500, that is included in the value of flour, and it has become 700. Understood? And then value of flour is included in the value of bread. Value of flour. Okay, value of flour included in the value of bread. And it has become rupees 1,700 plus value addition by this gentleman is 300. Value addition by this gentleman is 300. Okay, that is 1,000. And if goes second as I told, again there is an intermediate. For Amanpreet, it is intermediate is of 1,000 rupees in gold. and value addition by him is 200, and then he sells on 1200. So for him intermediate is Rs 1000 bread that costs rupees 1000 for oven breed if it is goes, and then the local seller took all this, and for him this will be of it costs 1200, and nominal profit he takes and then sells on 1250. So value addition made this small seller is Rs 50. So like that it will be going on value addition. As a result, the values of wheat and flour are counted more than once. If we go to calculate all this is going to be a huge amount. If you are adding all this huge amount, but actually that much addition is not made there. Value addition is not made. You can closely observe, because this 500 is included in this. Understood? This 500 is included in this. This 700 is included in this. Okay? Only some 200 comes here. Floor maker, RC. And here 300 are. 500, 200, 300. Breathe and team other side. Okay, 38. Yeah. So this causes the problem of double counting if you are adding all this, because considering that final good, everybody said final good, value of all final good in definition told, so we will add all the final good. What will happen for the farmer? It is the final good. Final good for farmer. When we do miller, it is a final good. So 700 are. And then when you again you find here for the baker this bread is final good. However, it does not, the story does not end there. Okay, understood? You observe now. I hope you might have understood that. This is a small portion and I have explained. You can see the condition of the board right now. Almost all area is filled, only one side is left there. So I hope you understood the logic which author is going to try. Economics is trying to tell you. Yeah. Then one more. In order to know the corrective value of national income, we must avoid the problem of double counting. This kind of double counting we need to avoid. We are coming to value added method. You might have noticed that. Yeah. How to avoid double counting? Two more things we will tell, and I stop, and tomorrow numericals of value added I will do. Okay. Today actually I planned, but time I think has over. I think 20-25 minutes over right now. Yeah. There are two alternative ways of avoiding double counting. Two ways are there. We can avoid this double counting. Final output method. According to this method, value of only final goods should be added to determine the national income. In the given example, value of bread 1000 sold to consumer should be taken as national income. So in the given example, this will be the value of final output. This only will be counted. Such a method, very difficult to come to know which is the final one. That is the problem. Then value added is here, which is comparatively easier one. According to this method, sum total of all value added in each producing unit should be taken into consideration. That we have said, value addition made in all each step. This is first value addition by farming. This is done by flour maker. Okay, that means miller. And then this is the 300. This is 200. This is 300. This is done by whom? Baker. So value addition here we have 500, 200 and 300. So then also it comes as same amount, 1000. All these instances it comes into 1000, and this only should be added into national income, otherwise there would be double counting. So if in the question asked how to avoid the problem of double counting, you need to remember this example and then express in your own words. Okay. Happy? Understood? Understood. Okay, I also noticed one thing, that very less number of students watch my video. It is not for my videos mileage. This is strictly made for LFS students only. This video, that's why it is unlisted one. Only for you students. You are only less than 30 students, and only for you, and out of which around 20 students don't watch at all. I don't know how they are going to pass the examination. I feel very much sympathetic to them and their parents. But my limitation, you know, I cannot come there and take a device in your hand and teach you. For the time being, I can do only this. So please cooperate and try to, considering your future, please study well, regularly study. And any doubt you can ask. Okay, anytime. Numbers are with leaders. You can ask Amanpreet or anyone you ask, they will let you know number. Okay, Amanpreet, Nikhil, or anyone. Shambhavi girl side, she also knows. So you ask anyone. Many other girls knows. Sani and all knows. You can ask, and then clarify your doubts. Thank you.